14 billion. Do you get the point?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
clearly, they are just struggling. They are just struggling. We have not pumped 10 billion. What we have done is to religiously follow our foreign market policy approved by the IMF, which says that we should take care of all these variables and send back the rest
But
to
is
intermediate
there
in the
anything
market.
wrong by the books if government decide to even pump any number or amount of dollars into an economy or into the exchange rate
There is
system?
something wrong. You see, the forex, the reserve that you have,
Okay.
is to help you manage volatility. Is to help you meet external shock demands. Don't forget that at the time we were going to IMF, our total reserve at the central bank could not even last more than 2 weeks. So if we had essential drugs to buy, we didn't have the forex. We have 0.8% of 0.8 months of import cover at the time we were doing that. And that is because all the dollars that we generated by borrowing 3 billion and all of that, we just threw them into the economy without organically generating forex to feed the economy. So when you do that, you expose your country against external shocks. And that is why we said that if you look at the time when Russia-Ukraine war came, why did we decide that we were not going to be able to pay our loans and went to declare bankruptcy? Because we printed a lot of CDs, but you must pay your external obligations in dollars. Those dollars, you had already pumped them into the economy. Okay? So you go to a central bank to buy dollars to go and meet government obligation. Central bank doesn't have dollars. So even though you have a lot of printed CDs, they were useless because you simply could not use the CDs to pay dollar obligations and to pay euro obligations.
So that brings the pressure on the
Exactly.
currency.
So you are generating the forex organically in the economy, but in doing that, you are saving part of it for a rainy day. And we have been able to save $6 billion in addition to what we came to meet. So the country now is a lot more resilient in terms of forex requirement. So that is why they are just trying so hard to tell the people of Ghana that we are depleting the reserves. Let me tell you, your reserves are made up of several components, but two major components of your reserve is your foreign currency, your dollar, your euro, and your other trading currencies. The second one is gold. Now, you don't buy gold because you want to decorate the Bank of Ghana with gold. You buy gold because it can be converted into dollars, euros, and pounds sterling. So, but you know that anytime you have a lot of gold in your reserve, the challenge is that if there is volatility in commodity prices on the world market and the price of gold tumbles, what you have sitting there is not the same again. It will now be at a lower value. So occasionally, you have to balance your risk. The risk of holding excess gold is that there's the potential that you lose value with a tumbling. So you do an assessment of the risk profile. And it got to a time that everybody judged that gold, when it got to $5,000 per ounce, it had peaked. And when it peaks, it will only come down. Nobody knew at that time that His Excellency Donald Trump would invade Venezuela and arrest the president, leading to instability in the global economy and people now seeking refuge in the dollar, which led to an increase in the dollar, the gold price again. So at that time, we looked at our peers, and our peers were keeping only about 20 to 22% of their entire reserves in gold. We were having 42% of our reserves in gold. That was a risk we were not willing to carry. Because assuming that the gold prices dropped, do you know how much money we would have lost? So we needed to manage the risk. And as a result of that, we decided that we will sell about 18% of our gold holdings to bring it to the level that everybody is holding. And it is not normal. It is not unusual. Look, the people who first sold gold in Ghana at the central bank are the people who are crying. Look, when we started, Ghana started having its own currency. The assets that backed the gold, the currency, included gold in 1958. In 1958, the central bank already had gold at the Bank of Ghana. Then 1961 and 1962, the government at the time decided to ramp up the purchase of gold and bought what we refer to as the legacy gold. Since 1962, no government, not even His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings, touched that gold that we call the legacy gold. In 2022, MPP sold that gold. Are you aware? And they were not criminals. They were not thieves. Come on. What are we doing to ourselves?
So